And it just kept saying processing ticket, processing ticket. So I'm like, okay, what now? And then it said, congratulations, take to lottery office, you won 50K. It felt so normal to me. And I knew I was going to win because I had the dream that I was going to win at that specific store.
Welcome to Lottery Dreams and Fortune. I am really excited to be joined here today with Phoenix. She won a $50,000 prize from the Powerball game in the United States. She actually claimed it anonymously, and so she is here anonymously. And we're so happy to welcome her. Phoenix, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, Timothy. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time. So you won this $50,000 from the Powerball recently.
I did.
How does that happen? How many numbers do you have to match to win a prize of 50,000 from the Powerball?
Yes. So to win 50,000, you have to match at least five numbers. So I did get the Powerball, but I was one number short from the rest of the numbers. And I didn't do a double play or a power play on this specific ticket. So the win was just 50K.
Well, just 50K is still extraordinary. Uh,
Yeah.
can you take? I know there's a lot of background with a dream about it before it happened, and you were intentionally into manifestation as well. And I want to get to that in a little bit. But with the win itself, can you take me back to that day? What was it like to win? Like, what was the moment like when you found out that you won?
Yes. So the moment I won, I was actually just out running some errands and I was on my way back home. So normally what I do is I stop and I play my tickets at the same store and I check my tickets at the same store as well. So on this specific day, it was just a regular day. I decided I was going to get some gas. I was going to get my tickets for the next draw, and I had the ticket with me, I want to say maybe about just 2 days because I found out that I won 2 days after the actual draw. So normally what I would do is I would let my tickets pile up and then I would check them. But the last time I did that, I had way too many tickets. So on this specific day, I literally just had that one ticket to check. And I didn't think that it was going to be a winner. So, I mean, I just went in the store, I scanned it on the machine, and it just said take to lottery. And then I was like, okay. So I walked over to, you know how some of the stores, they have like a little device and you can also scan it on that one. So I went over there and I scanned it on that one and it just kept saying processing ticket, processing ticket. So I'm like, okay, what now? And then it said, congratulations, take to lottery office, you won 50K. And I was like, I didn't want to say anything. I was in the store. The lady in the store, she did ask me if I was okay because I had been standing there for a minute or so. So I just told her, I said, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just checking my tickets. And she's like, okay, hon, because they see me regularly. So they know I'm always there most of the time. So I just kind of went back into my car and I didn't have like a burst of excitement because it felt so normal to me. I knew that I was going to win. So it was kind of like, I won? It was kind of like I had to take a minute to really process it. But then maybe like 30 minutes later, I just started getting really excited. I screamed in the car. I texted my family member. I told them, come home later because she's never really home. And I told her, hey, you got to come home. I need to talk to you. And she's like, is everything okay? I said, yeah, everything's fine. Just come home later so I can let you know what's going on. So
What was it like actually claiming the prize? What was the process like claiming this 50,000 Powerball prize?
Yeah, so basically, what I had to do was make an appointment and go up to the lottery office. They gave us a form to fill out. So I didn't claim the ticket. I actually let my family member claim it because they were in the dream. And I had been telling them that, we're going to win the lottery. We're going to win the lottery. So I wanted them to feel as much a part of the process as I did. So it was fairly simple. I followed everything I learned from your channel. I did call Kurt, for my 50K win.
Panusis, yeah.
Yeah, producers. I feel like I overthought the process because I'm preparing for my jackpot win. So I called him and we had like a 10-minute conversation. He was very sweet, very kind. He told me what to expect at the lottery office. The women there, they were super nice to us. We did have to go back the next day because we had an issue with our identification. So on their website, they weren't really clear about what type of ID they would accept or not. So we went back the next day. We filled it out. They took us back into a room. They gave us the tax form and they told us exactly how much we would be getting back after taxes, which was around, I want to say, about 33K, just to round it off. And then, yeah, they took us in a back room. They gave us the tax form. They just asked us a couple of questions about the win. And then that basically was it. It wasn't anything scary or anything like that, but they were super kind to us. They gave us some goodie bags as well with some souvenirs in there. So it was really nice.
You mentioned that you felt like this was going to happen. So why did you feel like this was going to happen? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so when I said that, I kind of meant that I knew that day would come when I would see the take to the lottery office. So normally when I check my tickets, sometimes it says not a winner. So I had started to condition myself to, instead of seeing not a winner, to see congratulations, take to lottery office. So when I saw that, it wasn't so much of a surprise because I had repeated that visual in my head so many times. So, and I knew I was going to win because I had the dream that I was going to win at that specific store. So it wasn't that I wasn't happy about the win or excited. It was just that I knew it was going to happen at some point.
Well, wait a minute. So you had a dream that
Yes.
you were going to win. Do you mean a literal dream? Like you literally dreamt this, or do you mean you were just imagining this?
No, I dreamt that I was going to win at that specific store.
At that specific store. Wow.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so what was the dream?
Yeah. So in the dream happened about 3 years ago. And in the dream, I basically just saw myself standing in a store and I had a ticket in my hand. And I basically walked out of the store and called my family member and said, "Hey, we just won the lottery." So that was all the dream was about. But in the dream itself, there were certain details that I saw in the dream as far as like the color, the design, the people that were in the store, the patterns on the floor. And so that's what made me realize when I started buying tickets at this specific gas station that that's where I was going to win the lottery.
Wow, that's very detailed. So even the patterns on the floor, the people in the store, did you dream of the clerk? And did all these details come to fruition at the time? And were you even aware of this store at the time?
Yes, so I wasn't aware of the store. Why I started purchasing my tickets at this specific store, it was because I had moved right across the street. I want to say, just within that time frame, I had moved and there was a gas station close to me. So I just started to buy my tickets there and I started to, get my gas there. The reason why I actually started playing the lotto is because of someone who had reached out to me online. There was a young lady who reached out to me on Reddit and she saw a post that I had made about manifestation. So she wanted for me to be her manifestation partner. She was the one that wanted to actually manifest the lottery. I wanted to manifest money for a fundraiser that I was doing. So we tried her technique that she wanted to try. It didn't actually work out. So we kind of went our separate ways, but I still wanted to play the lottery just to show her or reach back out to her that, hey, it's possible, because I know she wanted to win. So in the process of me trying to do that to prove to someone else that you can win the lottery, I had the realization that I'm the one that was actually supposed to win, because I had a dream 3 years ago that I was going to win at this specific store. So when I sat back and I really looked over everything and started to process things, I realized that she just came into my life to align me back with that jackpot win, or with the 50K win. So it was like everything that I did just led me to the moment that I saw in that dream 3 years ago. When I first had the dream, I did play the lottery maybe just for like a week. So I played it just for a week and then I kind of let it go. And I never really revisited, trying to play the lottery. I only did it because I wanted to show someone else that it was possible.
Oh my gosh. So when you had this dream with all these details in it, and then you actually won 3 years later, I mean, after you won, did you look back at that dream and just was your mind blown? Did it feel surreal? Because that's how it felt to me when that happened to me and to many people I've met and interviewed. But what about you? I mean, and were the details exact to the dream, and how did that feel?
Yes, so the details exact to the dream. I remember seeing a woman in the dream. She was like an Indian looking woman. And I remember just seeing her. She was just in the dream, just smiling at me. The day that I actually won, she was not there. She had actually left that location 2, 3 months prior. So I had really gotten attached to playing my tickets at this store once I realized I was going to win there, because I saw this specific woman in the dream. So whenever I would go, me and her would, have conversations. Like I said, they knew me pretty well because I would talk to them. They knew all the regulars. So it was really a wonderful energy. And that's really what attracted me to the gas station, or that specific store, was when I first went in there, the energy felt so familiar. It felt like I was where I was supposed to be. I don't know if you ever like went somewhere and you just felt like this place makes me feel good. So I wanted to be a regular customer. This was before I even started playing the lottery. The energy there was just good to me. So all of that, the good energy in the store was just aligning me back to what I was supposed to actually be doing there. So yeah, to answer your question, it did feel, I wouldn't say it felt like, like a deja vu-ish feeling. It was just like I knew so much that it was going to happen, Timothy, that it didn't really shock me, you know? I had like it didn't happen to me like, for example, someone else who had played the lottery and they just hit, and it was like because I had the dream and I believed and I knew it was going to happen, it didn't really give me that shock effect. It more so just made me feel like a sense of excitement, if that makes sense.
That makes complete sense. So you've had other dreams that have come true and experiences that have come true in the past. Can you give me an example?
Yes, so I've had dreams where someone was getting ready to reach out to me, and the very next day I would receive like a phone call from that person. I've had dreams where someone was sick and they were going to reach out to me. I've had car accident dreams, like a warning dream for someone who was going to get into an accident. And I've even had dreams of people that I was actually going to be meeting in like real life. So I've met maybe two people so far that I've actually met. So before, previously, I was living in Florida, and then I moved to another state, and I've had dreams in Florida about people that I was going to be meeting in my current state. So that's kind of like an example. And this would be like a 2 year, 1 year gap situation. So some of my dreams, they happen within like the next day, the next week. And then others, it's like way into the future.
That's extraordinary when that type of thing happens. And really, I mean, quantum physics seems like it's sort of exploring this type of thing as well. And it brings in the whole question of time. What is time? Is it from past to present to future, linear, how we perceive it? Or is it possible, as some quantum physicists say, that everything is happening at the same time and to preview what you haven't actually experienced within that state of mind with your consciousness?
Yeah, I definitely think it's definitely us previewing what's about to come, as you would say. I also view it as different options that we have as far as what frequency you're on, so I see it sometimes as my higher self just showing me, hey, these are the possibilities of what can happen. And depending on what you're aligned to, it could go this way or it can go that way, so some dreams that I have, they kind of, I don't want to say spook me, but they make me alert, especially when it comes to those that I care about, like family members. So if I have a dream that something may happen to someone, I don't talk about it, unless I really feel that pull that you need to let this person know. Because I've had that before. I've had dreams where I needed to tell my mother a message. I needed to explain certain things to her, and I've done it right away. But if it's something that it's kind of like a negative outcome, or it would be viewed as negative, I really try to sit on it before I say anything. And then, like I said, I try to align myself because I look at it as we have a choice. We have a choice as to what we really want to experience. So if I sit and I dwell on, something possibly going wrong, then it's likely that it will go wrong. But if I change it and say, well, this person, they're going to be fine. It's okay. If they're sick, they're healed. Everything's fine. It can go that way also. So with these dreams, I kind of have grown to know the difference between a premonition dream where it's going to happen or something that my mind just conjured up, so what I mean by that is, for example, if you sit down and you look at a picture of a birthday cake, or if you, you know that you're going to be going to a party or something, it's likely that you're going to have a dream about a party of some sort, you know. But if you have a random dream that it was just like so realistic and there's certain details, it's kind of like a feeling, you know, when you had your dream, Tim, it was just like this feeling. It's a feeling that you can't deny. So there's those dreams you have where it's like, that was just a dream. My mind just made that up. And then there's those dreams where it's like, it really takes a hold of you and you kind of just know. So it's good in those situations to, I guess, have that awareness, or to be close with your higher self so that you can know the difference.
Yeah, and I really relate to a lot of what you're saying. I've had many dreams as well, many positive, but also some negative. But the difference, at least for me, is that it just feels way more real, and it just feels like it is happening for real. I mean, it's
Yeah.
very, yeah, visceral and not always visual, but it's more, for, at least for me, the feeling of it is like there's no doubt a difference between just that and pure imagination.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you mentioned the word align a few times, including with these dreams when you are seeing these what you believe to be possibilities, whether quantum physics you might consider it different dimensions or so forth, but you consider it possibilities and you want to align with certain possibilities. So with manifestation, when it comes to this lottery win, for example, what actually are you doing to manifest the outcome that you want? How do you align with the outcome that you want?
Yeah. So basically, for me, when I align, I first acknowledge that this is true and this is a possibility and it can happen. And I see it in my mind as something that I wholeheartedly believe in. So that's for me how I align, is through my belief wholeheartedly. There's no gray areas. I believe that this is going to happen and that it's just that simple. So that's the first way that I align with things. The next way I would start to align is just by taking inspired action or listening to my higher self. So for me, I am a spontaneous type of person. So when my higher self tells me to do certain things, I don't really question it. I just do it because I know that any little thing can help me align. So there's a difference between, like, doing something drastic or just something very subtle, just something minor. So the things that I would do, I would just take time for myself so that whatever I'm trying to manifest, I can always be in a state of calm. Whenever I feel that I'm stressing out, I know that I'm not aligned to what I want. So something that I've learned, because as you know, I am a part of Mark's School of Manifestation.
Mark Houghton, yes.
Yes. Yeah, Mark Cotton. So,
Hmm.
so, Mark had said something that I really resonate with, and it's that we are not to be under any sort of pressure or stress when it comes to manifestation. So if ever I'm doing something and I feel like I'm trying to figure it out, and what I mean by that is it doesn't have to necessarily be related to what I'm trying to manifest. It's just life in general. For example, if I created a to-do list for myself and I said, today I'm going to do, grocery shopping, laundry, X, Y, and Z. But all of a sudden I get flooded with phone calls from family members. Someone wants me to do this for them. My schedule just seems to not go as planned. What I would do is just stop everything. Like, literally, like, I would cancel plans. Or I would just tell people, hey, I can't do this. Even things that I've planned on my own to do for myself, I would sometimes just not do it. And I would instead go to the park, go for a walk, do something that I enjoy doing, because I realized that my plans have been interrupted. So for us, sometimes when things don't go the way we planned, it can cause a little bit of stress. So to step away from the stress, I just accept that, okay, this is not going to happen the way I want it to happen, but I'm going to do something else that's going to make me feel good, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how I bring myself back to alignment.
No, it's so interesting. And so you're not necessarily chasing it or stressing over the when, but it's more that you're feeling that and having the faith and the belief that it's going to happen. Is that right?
Right. Right. Just having the faith and the belief that it's going to happen, even if it doesn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. So what's really been helping me, like I said, is to just tell myself that it's not my job to figure it out. There's no way for me to figure it out. To stay in alignment with the energy of my win, basically, I just have to let it go and trust that it will work out and it will come to me. So if there's things happening in my life that's causing me stress, I have to let those things go as well. So over the years, I've gotten really good at letting go literally anything. So it could be, if it's people, if it has to do with work, if it has to do with anything at all, I'm letting it go. And I know that everyone can't do that, or they may not have the faith. But because I've had certain situations happen to me, or just the way I've been brought up, I've just learned that the best thing for me to do is to let it go. So hearing it from Mark, or hearing it from anyone else that, teaches on manifestation, it just reinforces to me that the way that I do things is actually the correct way, to just let it go and bring myself back in alignment with that energy, even if things are still going wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with this 50,000 win that you had recently, for example, with this, which is, a really awesome, I mean, that's amazing. So this just happened, and you joined Mark Hutton's school community shortly before this happened. So were you doing anything different, or did it just bring in more alignment and faith to what you were already doing? What were you doing? Were you doing affirmations, visualization, anything specific for this prize? I know you had dreamt about it.
Yeah, so I had been doing the affirmations because before I joined Mark's school, I had been doing the affirmations. I used to do affirmations previously heavily, and I still do affirmations, but I don't do them as much as I do the affirmations. So the affirmations, I've been doing that. I've been meditating a lot. I've been taking time for myself, really scheduling out my days to do my walks in the morning, go to the gym. I go to the gym at least 4 times a week. This is just my choice. And then before the win, I did change my diet up a little bit. So I've always eaten a clean, healthy diet, but I switched to eating once a day. So, and I actually really enjoy it. I enjoy having that one meal. So, I did that. And what else did I do? I've been doing a couple of things, Timothy. But to answer your question, yes, once I joined Mark's school, what it did was it really reinforced my current beliefs, everything that I already believed in. And because of the type of person that I am, I've always been very private, very to myself. Mark School also provided for me something that I didn't have, which was a community, like a community of people that also thinks the way I think. So literally as soon as I joined his school, I just felt a sense of peace and calm. It wasn't that I didn't have peace before, but it really sunk in that I don't really have to do too much. I just have to stay aligned to what I want. So joining Mark's school was in alignment with what I wanted, which was to focus my perception on certain things. So I don't watch the news. I don't hang out. I don't go to the clubs. I don't do any of that. And I understand that with manifestation, my subconscious doesn't know what I'm doing. It just sees what I'm doing. If I listen to a negative conversation, it's going to go into my subconscious and it's going to manifest in ways that I may not know. So I have to make the effort to stay away from certain things. So joining Mark's school platform, I said to myself that, okay, September is here. It's going to be the first of the month. I want to impress on my subconscious more that I'm in alignment with, the things that I'm trying to manifest, as far as my success, my health, the lottery. This is what I'm in alignment with.
So you tell yourself this in your head, or do you speak this out loud? Like, what exactly do you do?
Yeah, it's the feeling, but when I tell my subconscious, it's not something that I say. What I meant by that was just it was an inspired action that I knew I had to take. Because I had been contemplating or thinking of, well, not contemplating. I wanted to join Mark's school. I just never did it. I just never joined because I've just gotten comfortable to watching him on YouTube, listening to him. And that was it, seeing his lives on Sunday. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to join his school. I'm going to join his school. But the lesson that my higher self gave to me was that basically when you have that thought that comes in sometime that this is something that you should be doing, you should just go ahead and do it, especially if it's in alignment with what you actually want. It's like something telling you you should be doing this, but you just kind of like procrastinating on it. And what that does is it doesn't let you shift into your next chapter. It doesn't let you shift because you're taking too long to do the things that are in alignment. It's a difference between like you trying to force something and like do what you want to do and have complete control versus you doing something that's like directly in alignment with what you're trying to do. So me taking that step and joining his school platform, I was literally just shifted into another timeline. Basically, I just jumped into another timeline by that one thing. And we can jump into timelines by doing, different things. It could be something negative we do and we jump on a negative timeline, or we do something positive and we jump on a more positive timeline. Is kind of how I look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that mindset. And how would you say that this win that you had recently with the Powerball for this 50,000 has changed or reinforced your belief with this type of thing, with manifestation, visualization, intuition? Like, how has this changed anything for you?
Yeah, it definitely like gives me a whole lot more peace and makes me trust my higher self more. It makes me have more belief, like you said, in my dreams. I start to now really take it seriously as, okay, this is showing me what's to come or what can come, so it didn't so much shift like my belief in things. It more so gave me a peace of mind. It lessened any type of doubt that I may have. Not that I doubted the process, but maybe I would say it killed the doubt. So I literally am not doubting anything anymore. Like, I just know this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that seems like that is powerful. Difference between feeling like you know something and hoping for something. It's a big difference.
Right. Right.
Well, we do have limited time, but your story is so inspirational. What would you tell someone that is a little bit frustrated because they're hoping to manifest something into their life and it just hasn't happened yet?
Yeah. So what I would tell someone really is to just continue what you're doing. It's going to happen. What I'm learning, especially in Mark's school, is that repetition matters. So we have to repeat things for it to register. Everything that if we have an idea or something that we're trying to manifest, really it has happened already, especially if we're able to see it. If we're able to see it and feel it and experience it within ourselves, then that has already happened. So the only thing that that person really needs to do is align with that energy. And there's different things they can do. They can listen to music. They can do scripting. They can visualize things. They can meditate. There's different, options for people. Everyone is not the same. Everyone can't visualize something. So if they can't do that, they can just write it down. That may help them connect with what they're trying to manifest more. But the main thing I'm trying to say is just the repetition. Just continue having the belief that it's going to happen and it will happen. And then also connecting with your higher self. So seeking guidance, literally speaking out loud, hey, higher self, it's me, what's going on, having a normal conversation and then going into, your questions, especially like at night before you go to sleep, say that you need an answer for something specific. And then within, who knows, the next day, next week, the next month, you can get that answer. So it's really just having trust in yourself and knowing that something is going to work out for you. So something that I've always done is I've always said that everything is working out. Everything is working out. Even if there's something that I really, really wanted and it didn't work out that exact way, there may be something better happening for me behind the scenes. So even when we have losses, we need to count that as, everything is still just working out.
Hmm. And if you do have a loss with even playing the lottery for all the times that a person plays and doesn't win, and it's important to always play responsibly and never spend more than you can afford and have fun, but be in a positive mindset, have fun with it and play responsibly, I think. But it's definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely possible. Phoenix, your story is absolutely inspiring. I love the fact that you dreamt about it with such detail before it happened, that you're into manifestation, intuition, all of these things that are so incredibly interesting and important. Is there anything else that I didn't ask today that you want to say, or that maybe I just don't know enough to ask?
Yeah, no, I think you pretty much covered like the main things. I just want to thank you again, Timothy, for inviting me on your show. Throughout my journey, I been watching you very closely. So you have also inspired me. I did not think that I would be on your podcast this year, you know, but you have helped me with my manifestation also. So as far as my perception, and you're one of those people that whose channels I go to when I watch daily. So again, for anyone that's trying to manifest something specific, especially the lottery, and you're, continue watching Tim, continue watching other channels that talk about the lottery. All of that is going to benefit you. So I just want to thank you personally as well, because you definitely have helped me. I talk about you with my family members. I play your videos out loud, and you're a part of my daily routine, just so you know.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for your kind words. I'm so glad to hear that. That's incredible. Well, thank you, Phoenix, and thank you so much for taking the time to come onto this show, because it's really important and it's really inspiring, and I really resonate with so much of your experience and what you have to say in your story. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and such a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you, Timothy.
I hit $125,000. Right before it happened, I just visualized the jackpot win. Closed my eyes and pictured it happening. I have had dreams that I've won. But I wasn't shocked at all, because I just had played it through my mind. Anything's possible. We can create anything we want.